All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of What Did We Just Watch? Today, me and Ken are going to discuss the season premiere of Season 4 of The Walking Dead. Let's go ahead and get it started with the beginning, where Rick finds a gun under in the soil. What do you think? I mean, is he just anti-gun now?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, between last season and this season, all the school shootings and Obama and the liberals got to him, and he's decided just to turn away from evil ways of the gun. No, I mean, obviously, I think, later on in the episode, they allude to it more whenever Herschel comes up to him and says, you have to take a gun with you, blah, blah, blah. We've talked, I think, and then again later on, after he comes back, we see him talking to Herschel, and he's talking about kind of his mental breakdowns that he had, and I think that's what it comes down to. Like, I mean, let's face it, like Tyrese and some of those people that are in that group, he pointed a gun at him, because he was just like losing it. So I think that's part of it. I also think him seeing his son so violent he's trying to set a better example for him. And we kind of see later on where Carl catches Carol teaching kids how to use knives and stuff that maybe, Rick's been trying to downplay that violent aspect with the younger people. So.
Yeah, I think the son capping the kid in the season finale kind of just made him think like, we're going too far with the violence here. We should probably hold back a little bit when it comes to human beings. I think it took a little too far of not bringing a gun with him when he goes and scavenges stuff. I mean, that's borderline crazy.
Right.
And you have your knife, and he's seen a horde before. I mean, it's not like he's new to the whole thing, so.
Right. I mean, he's definitely right. What difference is 6 shots going to make? That's why you should carry something with a serious clip on it instead of a revolver, but whatever.
Yeah, definitely. And, on top of that, I know it's old news, but the governor's still out there. And
no joke.
The governor, who does he want dead more than anybody than Rick?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, that's just my play into it. I'm actually happy to finally get an episode of Rick not seeing his wife. No joke. Is he finally over this little spell he was on? I hope he is. Hopefully he's back to being the same old Rick, but I'm glad we don't have to see any of her, just because they outplayed it so much last season.
Yeah.
Alright, so he's in the woods and he meets this character, Clara. What do you think of her? Talk about crazy.
Yeah, exactly. It made me realize, for one thing, that the worst part of the zombie apocalypse is just the fact that no one ever gets to take a shower because, my God, the chick was so dirty.
Yeah.
But, it was just weird, at first I'm trying to figure out why does she have an Irish accent or whatever that accent she had was, and, we get a little bit more of the story, but it was just kind of a strange thing. But I'm still kind of waiting to see, what's the point of that. I definitely see that, it's kind of supposed to compare to how Rick went crazy, but he came back from the edge instead of going to where she's at, but I don't know if there's more to it than that.
I feel like they built up a story for her, and they just ended it when she killed herself. It was just like...
Right, yeah.
The thing I think might happen is he didn't dome her. He didn't kill her after she killed herself. Usually he puts a bullet in her head just to make sure she doesn't turn. I'm thinking season finale, she pops back up.
Bites Carl.
Especially after that whole speech that Carl gave him last year, or at the season finale with, you didn't kill Shane, and look what he did. He came back. He turned.
Right.
Whoever killed his mom, you didn't kill him. You should have killed him. So maybe a little karma comes back and bites him.
Yep. No pun intended. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So we had that go on. The love interest at the beginning of the season, good God. Yeah, a little too much,
I'd much rather see a zombie hanging from the rafters by his intestines than see this disgusting display of smooching and canoodling that was going on.
I can see where they're coming from. They're at the point now where it's I think a couple months, 7 months or so they said after the season finale of last season. So it's kind of things are getting back to normal. They have some kind of a normal life where they can have these interactions like this. They can have, these love stories that are developing, but they just hit you back to back to back. I think Carol is calling Daryl Pookie. I'm like, what's going on? Hey, beautiful.
Yeah,
and then whenever they made the trip to the grocery store, I think they kind of made a hard turn. They go straight back into the gore and the violence.
Right.
Which, I mean, the helicopter on the roof, that was, I think you and me kind of agree that, I don't know if zombies are going to make that roof collapse, because that helicopter's been there for probably months, I would assume, for it to decay that roof so much. I thought it was kind of far-fetched a little bit how it all worked, but when it happened, it was a pretty cool scene, that whole shootout in the grocery store. It just brought you back into that Walking Dead world pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was some pretty awesome zombie finish kills and stuff in that scene, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
some tense moments.
You have, like you said, the zombie intestines guy who fell through the roof. I thought that was freaking awesome. Just some of the killings they did in there was great. This brought you back to that roots of Walking Dead. So we had the ex-military alcoholic guy, the one who's over there by the wine, and he's like trying to smuggle a bottle of wine for some reason. He puts it back, and then the shells collapse. So he gets his foot stuck, and it's just one of those things where, as he gets stuck, you just know, that roof's going to start coming down.
Right.
It's just so foreshadowing at its best. It's like, oh, this is a typical, he gets stuck and bad stuff's about to happen.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty good fight scene with the zombies and, the group. And then you have the zombie that starts crawling up to the guy, and he has all these bottles around him, but he instead uses his hand to, push him back. I'm like, what are you doing? Just get one of those bottles, break the bottle, and shank him in the face.
Yep.
I didn't understand why that happened. I don't know why he just didn't do that, but that was one thing I didn't like about that whole scene. And then, of course, Daryl doing some of the craziest stuff with that bow. I don't think it's even physically possible. I don't know. He was, turning around real quick and shot it.
He's turned into, Legolas. Yeah. That crossbow. He's got multiple bolts in there at one time, and he's shooting 3 zombies.
So, sometimes, I honestly, I feel like I'm watching the sequel to Wanted. I'm just like, did he just curve that arrow? Did I just go around the store?
And take out, it took all the zombies out in one.
Right. Yeah. I'm glad they kept Daryl as a badass as usual. Obviously, he makes the show, so. Some great stuff from that guy. So once we leave the store, the new guy they showed in, the boyfriend, who got bit, he dies. It's one of the new characters they showed. His name
is Travis, was it?
It may have been, I'm not completely sure, but,
yeah.
So he ends up getting, bitten and he dies. So that's kind of one of the only people that died in that situation. So everybody goes back to the camp, and Daryl has to tell the girl, hey, your boyfriend died, and she's like, okay, whatever. And, she's so immune to loss.
She changed it to 0 days since a workplace accident on the calendar. That was awesome.
Yeah. So everybody's just kind of immune to this. Hey, we're gonna lose people. It's whatever, boyfriend or not, it doesn't matter. It's just how life is. And then you had the whole Glenn situation. He was,
his usual sulky self.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm not pregnant because I prevented it somehow." I don't know how she somehow prevented. I guess when she said that, I was like, "How did she manage to do that?"
She got a straw and some other.
I have no idea. So and he's super excited, and then she's like, "Dude, you gotta stop being a pansy. This is our lives now. I'm not gonna put everything on hold just because you're scared. Rick has a baby over there. Why can't we have one? This is what we do now." So I think a little trouble in paradise over there, I guess you could say.
Yeah, there's always a little bit of drama with those two, and I think like you said, they're trying to set up. They're obviously going to tear this walls down around us on this season with the jail becoming a bad place. So they're just trying to set us up for, maybe things are finally coming down to normal, just like they did with the ranch or the farmhouse. Everything was starting to get nice, and then it all went to hell. I think that's the same type of scenario they're setting up here. And also, one thing to add with the Glenn situation, you have to figure he must know when his girlfriend's period is, and he is Asian, so I'm assuming he can do the math and just know when not to have sex with his girlfriend, but apparently not. I don't understand that. If you don't have a kid, there's good ways to avoid that. But
yeah, it's like something tells me that the convenience stores. I don't think condoms were the first thing that everybody was like, we have to go get condoms, you know.
Right.
Like,
Or
I'm sure
try
there's
the
plenty of
pull-out
those.
method or something. I mean,
Yeah.
well, this isn't a sex ed class. I digress.
Yeah, everybody knows what's happening. Just like, dude, or if you're so worried about this, you wouldn't be, doing stuff in the first place. But anyway, so that's a whole new drama situation. I still think that one of those three are going to have to make a huge decision. And when I say those three, it's going to be Herschel, Glenn, and his girlfriend. I don't know. I think it's going to be one of those things where one of them has to pick one or the other. Mm-hmm. And I don't know who's going to be the one picking or who the two options are going to be, but I think that's going to happen later down the season. So we got a whole batch of new people we've never seen, these new kids. And we have Carol who's quote unquote doing story time and teaching these kids how to knife fight when none of the grown-ups are around. Yeah. And I don't really understand her whole secretness. I mean, I guess she brought it up and Rick or the council was like, no, we're not teaching these 12-year-old girls how to stab people.
Right.
And then you see Carl catch her in the act, and he didn't run back to old Papa just yet. What do you think he's going to do? Do you think he's going to tell or snitch on him?
It's going to obviously come to light at some point, I think.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't really understand why that's going to be a big deal. Like I said, because I think everything is going to go haywire anyway here soon, and you got to figure those kids are going to get it, but whatever. For sure.
And then so that happened, and then the very end of the episode, we have one of the new guys. His name, did you catch his name?
Woody Allen, was it? Young Woody Allen.
Young Woody Allen.
Yes.
So he wakes up and he starts. He's got. I'm guessing super sweaty feet. I don't know if it was blood. I'm pretty sure it was sweat though. And he starts walking, and you see the footprints.
Yeah, I think it's sweat because I think the whole point is that he's got some kind of fever.
Yeah.
So which is obviously contagious when you're sweating that much. So.
Right. So he went to the bathroom. He turned on the shower, and then he collapses. And at the end of the episode, they show his face, and he gets the yellow demon eyes, and he looks like a zombie. Or it doesn't actually look like a zombie. It looks like a new generation of zombies, I guess you could say. I'm really curious to see this because it kind of looks, he kind of was acting the same way as that pig at the beginning. So we're trying to combine those two to figure out maybe there's something bigger, like a bigger disease out there.
Right.
I mean, what do you think of that? Do you think it's going to be? I think obviously it's going to be the base around the new season, but
yeah, I mean they said in this season the producers kind of already told us that there's going to be a new problem they encounter besides zombies and other crazy people. So it's obviously to me it looks obvious that it's some kind of virus or something like that. Mm-hmm. That's something that would kill a pig and a human, which I don't know what that'd be. Mad cow disease, I don't know, but I think I think he just turned into a zombie because he was dead, but that's just me. And then obviously they go to the point of showing that all the cell doors are open, so there's probably going to be some mayhem starting out next week. So
right, like I said, I think it's been like 7 months since the last big thing happened, so everybody's kind of feeling safe. Right. And now it's time for something new to happen. So we're going to go ahead and end the episode with a few things I thought was kind of cool, a few little cameo things. If you're a nerd just like me and Ken are, Michonne wants to go to Macon. Macon is, where your main character from The Walking Dead, Telltale, series is from. I mean, if you've ever played that game on your Xbox or whatever, that is the same place that that game takes place in, which I thought was kind of interesting because, I mean, maybe we might see a character from the game. Probably not, but it'd be really cool. I think it's kind of an interesting thing. And, we didn't see the governor at all. I mean, is that a good thing, or?
I can't handle another season of switching back and forth between two different groups. That would just piss me off. Right. So hopefully if he comes back, it's just he's a villain and we don't know what he's doing and he just shows up, like your typical situation instead of having two different groups for Fallen the whole season.
Would you be satisfied? Last thing I promise. Would you be satisfied if Michonne takes her little journey to Macon, finds the governor, and puts an end to it, and just be like, "You're done. That's the end of the governor."
Oh yeah, it's got to come down to Michonne and the governor for sure. Some one way or the other for sure.
For sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for hanging out with us. If you liked the video, just leave us a comment and leave us a like. And we'll be back here next Sunday with What Did We Just Watch?
Later.
Later.